There is a conflict in my homeland, a conflict that goes for a century between the Jewish Israelis and the Arab Palestinians. A cycle of violence involving military occupation, destruction, terror attacks, kidnapping, and in general, just widespread human suffering and pain. But my hometown is nothing like that.
Oasis of peace.
It's a small and unique village located between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, jointly founded by Israeli Jews and Arabs who came to live, work, and educate their kids together. Over 50 years of coexistence, they managed to build a bilingual school, have guided hundreds of peacebuilding programs, and grow from zero to more than 100 families. Since the 7th of October and the war in Gaza, I became obsessed with finding answers to this madness. But my village has so many different perspectives that I just can't consume it all. So I came up with a brilliant idea, using artificial intelligence to better understand the conflict, my village, and myself. Luckily, I'm not the first person who has researched the village.
Neve Shalom Wahat al-Salam.
Nev Shalom Wahat al-Salam.
Nev Shalom Wahat al-Salam, which means oasis of peace.
But mine will be different. Since AI models require training, my plan is to gather as much information as possible about the village, feed this data into the AI, allowing it to analyze it, and then I can ask it any question. But first, I need to talk to some experts.
It's really hard to understand and comprehend the fact that two people living in the same country know so little about each other. The consciousness of people from Neve Shalom about the conflict is like totally different than everything I've seen around.
This is Elena. She did her studies about education for peace. She helped me gather some documents, and she also sent me to the School for Peace.
The School for Peace has a calling to do that, to supply with safe spaces for discussions, and specifically for Jewish-Palestinian discussions, which is something that is hardly happen anyhow, and in those times even less. School for Peace real expertise is in the dialogue. And it's a unique method that was developed here in the School for Peace. What we want to do is to influence Israeli and Palestinian society towards a more equal and peaceful future.
I took some documents from Roy, but afterwards I had to go back. This is my house, this is the archive, and believe me or not, I've never been there. I was trying to bring light, and then the alarm started. Shit. Yo. I'm in the shelter. One of the missiles landed in a city really nearby, but no casualties, so I'm back to work. This is pretty scary. The light doesn't go on. Whoa. As you can see, I had a lot of work, so I called my girlfriend and we both started scanning. We found a lot of documents about the founder of the village, Bruno Saar.
But what unites us all is the common desire, the common resolve to give our lives to the cause of reconciliation in this country of the two peoples who live on this land.
So I took a lot of stuff. Some were valuable, some were just random. I started connecting the pieces, taking from each resource the most valuable part. But just when I was about to call it a day, I got a call.
The topic of one or two or some people of their friendship groups had to go to the army and how this impacted their friendship. This was like a reoccurring topic in all interviews.
In a couple of years I will turn 18 and I will have to go to the army.
I mean, for me, turning 18 and walking here in uniform after 18 that I grew up here, it's like betraying everything that I grew up on.
But whilst the Kitai family has been fighting for a peaceful coexistence, it's had to deal with the pain of war. They recently buried their eldest son, Tom. He had friends from many different backgrounds and wanted a future for his country that encompassed the aspirations of all. Tom's funeral reflected the unique identity of Neve Shalom, as both Israelis and Palestinians wept over his death.
Each friendship group, you kind of had like the person who had to go through this process.
When I was 19, I believe, my friend Adam had to be recruited to the army, and I think back then was a process.
When I finished my military service, I really wanted to put this part of my life behind of me, to stop being Adam the soldier and instead being Adam, me. And now, when this war started, it all came back to me again. And I feel like I don't have any choice right now.
And then there's always one person that had a really hard time with this.
From Adam, I expect more than the average Israeli, because obviously he grew up with Arabs, Palestinians. He knows the conflict extremely well. When he told me he wants to go to the reserves again, and I was like, after he saw the photos from Gaza, after I told him personally that I've lost some relatives, a lot of relatives, at that point at that point I don't understand it. At that point I'm like, no, as much as I try, because Adam obviously is one of my best friends and I know he has good intentions at heart. But I at some points you cannot justify it by any, you should be thinking different, you grow up different. And also you saw the photos, you saw what happens, and it also affected one of your close friends, me.
I feel like to everyone around me, this war seems so clear, that there is right and wrong and good and bad. But when you grow up with two sides to every story, everything is just unclear. I know people that died serving in the military in this war, and also know citizens that died. But also one of my best friends have 60 members of his family killed by the same military. I just feel helpless and unsure. I'm going to the military right now, but when I come back, I have to find answers. So I came back home, I had everything that I needed, and now it was time to put it all to the test.
This is what you're waiting for, people ready to ride. I think I'm ready tonight. I think I'm ready tonight. This is what you're waiting for, people ready to ride.
I had many questions to ask it, but one in particular.
The village does not offer a specific solution. Instead, it seeks to resolve the conflict by actively researching it and promoting coexistence. It embodies the daily effort to address and face the deep complexities and challenges inherent in the conflict. The residents' friendships and intertwined identities assist in overcoming disagreements. The village is demonstrating that a different future is possible.
For an outsider, it was nice to see they got through this and they were still able to make it as friends because they kept talking.
Honestly, I didn't really get the answer that I was looking for. But through this research, I realized that I have to adopt my identity crisis. We all have to. This is what makes us unique. And it's the first step towards peace. Keep researching, have dialogues, and do all of this together, challenging every day the crazy reality around us, showing that our two people can live in peace. I just wanted to ask you, what would you ask the bot? I think it will be really interesting to hear your questions and his answers, so feel free to do so in the comment section below, and I will just reply with his answers. I really hope that this situation will end soon and that I will see you on the next one. So, peace.